I grew up in Southern California, and I've traveled the world and lived in many places throughout the country. But Southern California, there's a very large Chinese population there. One of the gateways for this population is the university systems, the great university systems of California, the UC systems, the state school systems, even the community college systems. A big part of the funding for these institutions is foreign students, not just from China, but from Japan, from Europe, from South America, all around the world. But Chinese students make up an enormous portion of this, not just because Southern California is a wonderful place to live, but there's already infrastructure there for an incoming student. There's a huge Chinese population, there's Chinese restaurants, and many people have family and friends who live in these areas. So for a student coming from mainland China to Southern California, it is a wonderful opportunity for study, for life, and for business. But Western universities will struggle to lure back the Chinese students after all this pandemic thing is over. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rojo Reads the News. I'm your host, Paul. Today, we're going to take a look at this very short article from China Wire. China Wire is another one of these Chinese news aggregators. And it's a very interesting story. Western universities will struggle to lure back Chinese students. Now, I'm a university teacher here in China, and over the years, I've had many students who are studying to go overseas to study in Australia and England and the United States. And I have many former students who are there now. My current students, many of them also are looking forward to these opportunities. They've been preparing for this pretty much their entire academic lives. This whole COVID-19 pandemic thing has really thrown the cards up in the air, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. So, Chinese students have long been an invaluable asset to English-speaking Western countries like the United States, Britain, Australia, and Canada, contributing to academic life, knowledge, understanding, and the economy. But they have also been taken for granted, with many universities viewing them as little more than the means to fund programs and research through charging high fees. That's right. The fees that foreign students pay in California are enormous. Even at community college, it will blow you away how much it costs for foreign students to attend a community college in California. But the coronavirus could well put paid to such short-sighted thinking, slights, and miscalculations by campus administrators. A perceived mishandling of the disease by governments and rising racism prompting a rethink of the worth of overseas study. China's higher education system has been steadily improving and can now boast some of the world's best institutions, further making the case for why some of the nation's sharpest minds should stay at home to learn rather than go abroad. That is very true, and I think it's something that a lot of people are not realizing around the world, is that the growth of the Chinese university systems. They are becoming world-class institutions. Some of them already are, of course. Peking University, Sun Yat-sen University, schools like this. The Chinese government is also continuing to fund and overfund education programs in the universities. The annual increase that they're seeing is in the double digits. It's going to grow, just like everything else in China, very, very quickly, and I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise. An estimated 1 million Chinese studied overseas last year, and the withdrawal of even a small percentage from universities would leave a major hole in finances. But luring them back with the academic year begins will not be easy. China has largely got COVID-19 under control, and schools are gradually reopening. The West is still struggling with the disease, and many Chinese perceive foreign governments have mishandled their response. Yes, that is the prevailing opinion among the Chinese people. Some universities have similarly lost admiration. Their abrupt shutdowns of campuses and residential accommodation, postponing of exams, and shifting to online teaching, causing difficulties and even hardship for foreign scholars. Travel bans and restrictions aside, parents are understandably worried about sending their children to countries where health systems are straining to cope and the risks are high. Now, whether or not the health systems are struggling and things are dangerous or not, the perception and what people think is going on from mainland China, and we're talking parents and students alone, is that it's completely out of control and it's a very dangerous place to go. Whether or not that perception is reality, that's a different debate that we can have. But people's perception of what's going on is going to affect this. Chinese officials have been urging students to stay at home and contribute to the nation's development rather than go overseas. The coronavirus has helped their cause. They are especially eager for the academically inclined to enroll in science and technology courses, disciplines perceived as crucial to growth. Universities in Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and elsewhere in Asia are also bound to see an opportunity to attract more Chinese if Western education loses its allure. It is the consequence of foreign governments not valuing what they have and appreciating the soft power advantages. You can agree or disagree with this opinion. I'm happy to hear your thoughts down below. From what I'm gathering is that Western education still is a big draw for especially wealthy mainland Chinese students who really want to go overseas and study. There is still a prestige to this, not just for the students, but also for the parents who send their children overseas. Yes, the Chinese education system is growing and becoming a good alternative to studying overseas, but that prestige element of studying overseas still permeates society here. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But still, Western education institutions should do well to note what's going on in the minds of the people here.